Hey everybody, this is Alan Fine, and I'm here with Adolfo Perez, who you see a lot on Insider Travel Report, we're pleased to say. He's the Senior Vice President, Global Sales and Trade Marketing at Carnival Cruise Lines. We are on the newest ship in the fleet, well, for today at least.
We're
going to talk about it, which is the Carnival Celebration. It's going to soon be joined by another. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about new events. There's an event happening now, itineraries, private islands, and selling Carnival Cruise Lines here on Insider Travel Report. First thing is that we got dates coming up. I mean, we're in the middle of it. The Veterans Week.
Yes, Veterans Week. We always do on all of our cruises. We always have a Veterans Appreciation Day, and now this week, because of Veterans Day, we're actually doing an entire week celebrating veterans, active duty members as well, because we carry more military guests than any other cruise line. They're super important to us. We have a bar right over here, the Heroes Bar, specifically designed for them, and we have to be grateful for everything that they've done for us. So we try to do our part every single cruise, every single Carnival cruise every week. So
and you've got them from the 5th of November to the 11th are the events at all the different ports.
Yeah, we're actually working with the veterans medical assistance that we're actually donating 15 passenger vans to each of the 5 places that we're going to be visiting to help with the transport of veterans to the medical facilities. So we're really proud of what we do for the veterans because we're certainly proud of what they do for us.
All right, well, let's talk about this ship. And first of all, it's how big is it? Let's give us some stats.
So gross registered tons, which by the way is not the weight of the ship, it's the amount of enclosed space. So every 100 cubic feet is a gross registered ton. This ship is 185,000 gross registered tons. It's big. Let's just put it that way. It's a really big ship. It's over 1,000 feet long, so more than 3 football fields long. And she has 19 decks, or maybe 20. Because there might be one little tiny deck above. Yeah, so 19 for sure, maybe 20. She can carry over 6,000 guests, I think, on this sailing. Typically in the summer months when we have all the 3rd and 4th cabins or beds filled in the rooms with families, we get up over 6,000. On this cruise, we have about 5,500. All the cabins are full, but we don't fill all the beds because it's not family time. So does that give you
Absolutely, no, it does. But also, this is after Mardi Gras. Which class are we in, and they're all...
So Mardi Gras was the first in what we call the Excel class ships. Mardi Gras was our very first ship, the original Mardi Gras. Right. And then we ended up naming the first Excel class ship Mardi Gras. And there's 3 of them. So it's Mardi Gras, Carnival Celebration, and then the new one coming up, Carnival Jubilee. Right. That'll be sailing out of Galveston starting on December 23rd. She'll be making her way across the Atlantic later this month so that she can do her cruise December 23rd.
And all 3 of these ships are liquefied natural gas.
Yeah, that's another thing. We're very focused on the sustainability and the environment. Mardi Gras was the first cruise ship in North America to have propulsion with liquefied natural gas, LNG. And we actually had to work with the vendors that sell the liquefied natural gas to create a bunkering system because there are really no facilities in the U.S. for LNG. So we had to work with the fuel companies, and we created one first in Port Canaveral for Mardi Gras, now in Miami, and then of course we'll have one in Galveston.
So we got away from Celebration, but let's talk some more about it. So let's talk about public spaces.
Yes.
There are a lot of them.
Yeah. So look, when you have this many guests on board, you want to give guests as many options as possible. If we didn't have as many venues, whether it be drinks, food venues, places to hang out, bars, you'd have a lot of congestion because when you have that many guests on board a ship, I mean, you got to be able. So we did a lot of work to make sure that that we disperse the guests throughout the ship. So there's a ton of different little eating. So for example, lunch, typically back in the old days, you had the Lido deck or maybe the main dining room for lunch. Now we have the Lido deck marketplace. We have Guy's Burger, which by the way is my favorite. I had 2 yesterday and 1 the day before. Not that I'm encouraging gluttony, but you have to eat it. And then I had sushi after that with you.
Yeah.
And then, so we have the sushi place as well. We have Emerald's a bistro. We have Street Eats. We have Shaq's Big Chicken. We have Cucina del Capitano. So you don't have that same feeling you did, let's say 20 years ago, when really most of the options were just Lido deck and maybe main dining room. So now we got guests all over the ship, and we're doing activities everywhere. So we're trying to get people to not just be in one spot, so that we have.
Well, the key is choice.
Yeah. Oh no, that's what I think. Everybody asks me, well, what do you think of the future of cruising? Look, over the last few decades, especially probably accelerated in the last 10 years, is giving guests more options to customize their vacation to make sure that they get to do what it is that they get to do. We always talk about being the fun ships. Carnival's a fun ship, fun cruise line. Everybody's idea of fun is different. And on board, you've seen probably already people playing bingo, people playing, whatever. We have Family Feud now. My idea of fun is sitting in Serenity, the adults only pool area, sipping a drink, reading a book. So that's my kind of fun, but everybody has their kind of fun, especially kids. We have kids programs. We have a roller coaster on board. Yeah. Are you going to ride it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. Roller coaster. We have a ropes course with a zip line. We have pools. We have kids clubs for all different ages. There's just something for everyone. That's why multi-generational families, especially now after the pandemic, people want to be together, and a Carnival cruise is the perfect option for a multi-generational vacationer. Yeah.
So that answers that question. Who are you going to sell it to? But now the other question is, you have all these eateries, but then you also have these restaurants. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to my friend Rudy and his seafood place, and in fact show a couple of his dishes. But then let's just name those, please.
Okay, so we have Rudy's Sea Grill, my favorite. I'm having dinner there tonight. We have the Steakhouse Fahrenheit 555, which is unbelievable. Cucina del Capitano, family-style Italian food. We have Chibang, which is the Mexican-Italian food. It's not necessarily fused. It's like you can pick one or both of either one.
I was told to have Peking duck there, and it was a good suggestion.
Oh, you had it. I haven't eaten there yet today, or this cruise.
Well, it's because you keep having those burgers.
Guy's Burgers. Guy's Burgers. It's included in the price of the cruise. They are by far the best hamburgers at sea and on land, in my opinion.
Pizza wasn't bad either.
Yeah, pizza's great. We have a deli. I mean, there's just so many different places. The chef. We had dinner at the chef's table last night. That's a really special event for parties of up to 16. And you actually get a tour of the galley, and then the chef and his team put together a few appetizers out in the galley. Then you go to this beautiful room that's quiet and cold, where I swear the amount of food that came last night was unreal.
Let's talk about room classes. Now, I was able to get some footage of a suite. We're going to show them. Yeah. If we could talk about that, and what's beyond that.
Yeah. So we have the standard cabins that we do on all of our ships. We have the interiors, which are the most affordable. Then ocean view with the windows, and then we have a ton of balconies on board the ship. And then on this class of ship, the Excel class ship, we have 21 suite classes. The one you saw isn't the one I wanted to show you, but still beautiful room, lots of space.
What always happens is they're sold out, so I can't show you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we actually had a no-show from our group, and that room was able to, we were able to show it. But even just a standard balcony, I mean, look, if you want to go on a cruise and spend the least amount of money you can, just because that's all you can afford, that's all you want to spend, then interior cabins are great. They're comfortable, they're spacious, they have great closet space, great bathrooms. I wouldn't want to go in anything other than a balcony. It doesn't have to be a suite, because the ability to connect with the ocean on your own balcony, having coffee, sipping a glass of champagne or whatever, really elevates the cruise experience. And after all, you're on a cruise because you want to connect with the ocean, you want to be on the ocean, and what better way to do that than in a balcony?
So, of course, a ship of this size, people are eating, they need a spa and a gym.
Yeah, we have the Cloud9 Spa on board this ship. That's our spa across the fleet. And amazing. You can either get like salon type treatments, whether it's getting your hair cut, hair blown out, dyed, nails done, feet done. Then of course we have the thalassotherapy pools. We have the steam rooms. There's showers, scented showers, cold showers, hot showers. So if you want to really kind of relax and decompress completely, or try to sweat out some of those pounds that you just gained, perfect spot. Not to mention the gym. The gym, a huge gym, free weights. We have machines. We have a lot of ellipticals, a lot of treadmills. We have classes. We do spinning classes. We do yoga classes, Pilates. So there's no excuse to gain weight on a cruise, despite the fact that there's 20,000 places to eat.
Does this ship have superior plumbing? And the reason I ask is the ubiquitous sign that usually says only toilet paper.
It says no bulky items.
It says no bulky
I
items.
noticed that the other day too.
So is that a sign of how great the plumbing is?
Look, just flush toilet paper down the toilet, no matter what. I don't know what everybody's opinion of what bulky or what.
Don't test it.
Don't test it. Yeah, we don't. Last thing you want in the middle of the ocean is a sewage problem.
Right. Well, with 3 ships in a row, let's just quickly, what's Mardi Gras to Celebration to Jubilee?
Yeah. So whenever we have a series of ships that are built, same class, we look for ways to tweak them and make them better. One of the things that's different about Carnival Celebration that'll be similar on Jubilee versus Mardi Gras is the when you first walk onto the promenade. So Emerald's restaurant is on the promenade deck. And on the Mardi Gras, the kitchen is over by the windows and the seating is over by the walls. The fortune teller bar's against the wall versus against the window. Here, what we did is we moved the bar into the walking space, put the seating by the wall, and then Emerald's, we pushed the kitchen against the wall, which makes more sense, with the windows by the seat. So little things like that we do, and different themes on board as well.
So now let's talk about Carnival on land.
Okay.
So you have the new Celebration Key coming up, but you also have others, the old ones. Let's talk about any improvements and upgrades there.
Yeah, so we have a private island destination right now called Half Moon Key. It's one of our highest rated ports. It's idyllic. It's beautiful. It is, and actually it was Holland America's island. I don't know if it still is or not, but Holland America is one of our companies, so it's ours too. And it's just one of these places where you go to relax. It's all about the beach, the water, the crystal clear, unbelievable, Caribbean waters.
That's Half Moon.
That's Half Moon. We also use Princess Key, also another Carnival company. I've never been there, but I hear it's beautiful as well. And then we just announced our very own private destination called Celebration Key, and she's going to be on Grand Bahama Island, which is where Freeport is. So it's very close to the United States, which is great for fuel conservation, getting there fast, being able to potentially spend the night there. And we're spending about $500 million creating this destination to the largest freshwater lagoons that I don't know if it was the Caribbean or the world, a water park for kids. There's an adult-only area. There's retail. There's like 20 different food outlets there on the island. And it's going to have a pier, which will allow us to dock 2 ships this size at the same time.
And you figured out the flow for all the passengers. Yeah. So my question then is, will Holland and Princess get to use it?
They might get to use it. We get to use
using theirs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But we have 500 itineraries already scheduled to stop there starting in July of 25 or summer 25. 9 home ports on the East Coast with 18 ships visiting as of this point.
So you were also a sponsored columnist on Insider Travel Report. Your last column was about travel advisors booking their clients far out to ensure the best rates. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So in the past, up until 2019, we had done a really good job of, I say this lightly, training guests to book further out. The further out you book, the better deal you get. And then, during the pandemic, once we restarted, as low pricing was still available close in, but we've had so much demand now since last August, since the dropping of the COVID protocols, that we've been able to actually retrain guests to book further out. And we've actually opened sailings for the very first time all the way through summer of 2026. And people think, oh, that's crazy. You'd be surprised. Yeah. And I have to tell you, the earlier you book, the better price you get. You lock in the cabin you want, you get the price you want, and you heard Christine talking the other day about half the fun of a vacation is the anticipation, the planning. And I remember as a kid going on my first cruise with my parents back in 1976. I had the brochure in my room. I circled everything. I mean, back then the ships were like this big, you know.
Yeah.
And it really is part of the fun. So if you can encourage your clients to book early, they're going to get a great deal, and they're going to be able to enjoy the process of getting to the final day when they board the ship.
And also remind them that there's just no waiting to see if you get a deal at the last minute. That just doesn't happen anymore.
No, it's not happening. No, so don't wait. Tell them not to wait. That's what you're there for. You're advising them. Advise them on this.
Now, to wrap up, let's just give a final word to our over 126,000 travel advisors. And I was thinking you gave a great presentation on courage.
Yes. So I talked about courage, and there's obvious things that that you can consider courageous, like a firefighter running into a burning building, or you can, somebody climbing a rock, what do you call it, a face of a mountain, which I think is a little crazy, not so much brave, more crazy, but hey, you got to be brave to do that. And then there's little things about bravery that we have to do every day. It's really being uncomfortable with the uncomfortable, thinking, getting outside of your comfort zone. And as a travel advisor, I mean, you're faced with these things all the time, right? So one of the things that I talked about was, cold calling. Like, who likes to cold call? Who wants to be rejected? Who wants to call a lead, right? But if you don't do it, somebody else might, and you're going to lose out on the business. Credit card, perfect example. I was talking about Bob Dickinson, our former president. He always talked about, when you're selling something, talk about you get the foods included, the great stateroom, the balcony, blah, blah, blah. It's all for $7.99 per person. Which credit card would you like to use to secure this booking? And it's scary to do. It takes a little courage to do it, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, the chances are you're going to get people to do it much more easy. It'll flow out.
More natural it comes out.
It flows right out. And once you have a client's deposit, the likelihood of them canceling is at least 3 times less. So if it's 30% of the time, you're talking about less than 10% of the time does a person who deposits actually cancel a booking. So,
speaking of time, thank you for giving us some.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on.
For hosting us.
Yeah.
And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.